So this is how Burbank pulls over Mexicans versus, again, this is where the Armenian organized crime is. They drive around here with license plates that are marked. The cops know where I live too, so they even looked up here. I used to work with them when I was a janitor. So these two Mexicans, they get pulled over by two cop cars, full felony search, and nothing. These fools were just getting food, you could tell. And again, meanwhile, right at this unit, this vehicle, that vehicle belong to Armenian immigrants that don't speak English, that don't have any jobs, that live right here below me, that have a gang. Everybody knows that Armenians made 12 or 13 Armenians this year were arrested for stealing $80 million worth of Amazon stuff. Okay, that was just 13 Armenians. But it wasn't them that actually stole the stuff. In Armenian organized crime, they have levels too. They have poor Armenian criminals that are exploited by rich Armenian criminals because of intelligence levels. The ones that live by me are low intelligence, poor Armenians that survive off of creating wealth for wealthy Armenians doing crime. They have no access to the American economy. They don't know English. They don't have any skills whatsoever. They can't read in English. And I would dare say that their reading comprehension in Armenian, because none of them are born here, are probably mediocre at best, according to their standards. And then right next to me, and this is another point too, is so they're mules now. Next to me, this family here, actually, let me just do it real quick. And this family here, they're mules. It's a three family, a mom, a dad, and a kid. The kid is like a 16-year-old. The kid drives a customed out leased Kia with all tinted windows. The mom drives a luxury Audi SUV. The dad drives, and this is all within 18 months of them coming here. The dad, actually, this is the kid's car right in front. Yeah, that's the kid's car right in front. And the parents' car aren't here because what I've been pointing out in my documentation is that these poor Armenian parents, they've been traveling on planes now at least once every 2 weeks. I'm actually going to say once a week. And they leave for short little trips and they come back with luggage. And they live in my apartment. Their son only sleeps in the house when they're not here. When they're here, they have a 2-bedroom house because it's the same as mine. Their son generally stays in the garage where he has it set up like a den, a man's den. Why, whatever they're doing with the other bedroom, which is the second bedroom, they're not using it for the sons. But at the same time, too, they don't have enough money to move someplace where they can give a 3-bedroom apartment. That's what I'm trying to say. But they have enough rewards where they can stay in this situation but be motivated to do more stuff. So they're getting tricks. They're getting, like, the son gets that. The mom gets a nice luxury car. The dad gets a, oh wow, they live here too. Damn. Oh, they wouldn't let them drive. They said they couldn't drive. That's what they told them. But they got their food. But I'll tell you, if they were Armenians, they wouldn't even have got pulled over. Even no matter what they were doing. That's the whole point. I got a video of a Armenian driver with one of those loud-ass vehicles that I was walking. I got off the bus. And it's literally right at this intersection over here. There's a major intersection on San Fernando and Amherst or something like that. And I got off the bus and I was walking and the light went yellow. the direction I was walking towards. I'm walking this direction from that corner, and on the other side of the street in San Fernando, and there's a big intersection on that side of the street. There's like a two streets that split off at an angle, so it's like a wider intersection. Well, at that intersection, there was a cop, what Burbank cop, like I just showed you right there, one of those vehicles with the windows down because it was summertime. A Burbank cop sitting in the fucking car waiting for the light to turn. His light turns green. His light turns green. You gotta understand, the cop light turned green. He starts to proceed to go forward. An Armenian luxury SUV driven by an Armenian organized crime member that I got a picture of the very car when it was at a distance. And I made a commentary and I got a video of the cop car, and this is all posted. This guy went through at like 70 miles an hour, revving his engine in some Mercedes thing. The cop, I saw the cop stop in his procession going forward with the green light, let that car go by with his window down, so he couldn't not only saw it because it went right in front of his face, but he had to hear it, and he turned left and went the opposite direction because he didn't want to get in any trouble. I got another picture or a video of a Burbank cop sitting next to an Armenian right here on Glen Oaks. This is on the other side of the street. San Fernando's one block that way, and Glen Oaks is one block up. And the cop is sitting by an Armenian, and it's a 7-Eleven right here on Glen Oaks, and they both get stuck at a light heading basically towards Glendale. And the funny thing is, the cop is in the right lane, the curbside lane, and then the SUV is in the center lane. They're both going straight, and then you have the left turn lane right in the middle. So it's like 5 lanes total, opposite direction, left turn lane, and then you got your direction, left turn lane. So I'm coming the opposite direction from them, coming from the library, walking over here from the Olive. So I see both the front of their cars at the red light. The Armenian vehicle is a Jeep vehicle, a G-Wagon, that has every single window tinted, sunglasses black. Even the front window is tinted black. Sometimes, I know that I've seen this with Teslas. Tesla has a unique way of not necessarily tinting their window, but they do something where I used to work on a food truck, and there was this girl that would come in a Tesla, and it was crazy because she would sometimes park like just 2 cars behind, and I would finish her food, and I'd open the back door because I liked her, so I'd want to wave to anything to get her attention. And it was crazy because the first time I did it, I was like, wow, she's not in her car. So I thought she was in the bathroom. So I opened the door, and I made some of the orders, and I opened the door and made some other orders, and I was looking, I was like, man, I was kind of like, where'd she go? And she just popped out of the car, and like while I was looking at it, and I couldn't even see her. And it wasn't that the window was tinted, it was just, I don't know, some kind of angle. But this was over-exaggerated criminal, all black tint. And so you see the Burbank cop right next to him. This is LA. This person is I have video of an actual Armenian getting pulled over in LA for tinted windows. And I took a video of it because I thought it was funny of how different the contrast is between the way they are treated universally and the way they're treated by these pets. These police are their pets. These are not Americans. These are MAGA cops that are 100% sold out to a foreign criminal organization. Their lives depend on Armenian organized crime surviving. If Armenian organized crime gets caught, the cops in the Burbank and Glendale PDs are virtually going to be non-existent in one way or another, whether it's legally or biologically. So this cop at the light, they know me. Again, the cops know me because I post this commentary, and this is what MAGA type of fascist fetish on image, and I distort their image because they want to look like the heroes and the good guys. They don't want to be known as the criminals and the thugs. So this cop, this coward pet MAGA American cop who's not even an Armenian. That's the worst, the most disgusting part about these cops. This guy, the light turns green, and I was already getting out my phone to take a video, and when I did The Armenian vehicle proceeds straight, like no big deal. The cop, he's scared. He's not. There's a right turn lane at the bus stop right there. So if you want to make a right turn and somebody's going straight, you can just, a bus can even pick up people right there when somebody's going straight. So the cop someone wanted to go right, they could make a right turn around the cop. So if the cop wanted to make a right turn, he could have been in the right turn lane and made a right turn at the beginning, because he waited the whole light. So, I mean, it's not a long light, so I saw this while I was walking. And, but when the light turns green and that like it goes forward and it comes, so the G-Wagon is coming towards me and it's not very far. We'll put it like this. You see where they're at? So like that's the corner where they were saying there. That's the corner of the intersection. By the time I get to that tree, so I see them from like over here, that post. So by the time I get to that tree, the light turns green and they start to proceed. The G-Wagon goes forward and then the cop from the other straight lane, he, not like here obviously, he has a second thought in his head and decides ultimately to turn right on the spot, which is from the green light heading straight, no blinker on. And I got the impression that he just didn't want to have the psychological issue of realizing he's such a coward doing his job, that he's not gonna do his job because he's scared to do his job, to actually do his job in America against somebody that he knows is an enemy of America. And he thought it was better to just turn away. But you see, they don't turn away. This is the second time in front of this little side street right here that the cops pulled over a Mexican with this kind of felony thing. And I got that on video too. And I can show you, at least I got a video of cops pulling over a black guy on a bike. Right now it's 3 o'clock in the morning. At 4:30 in the morning on I think it's Alameda and San Fernando, inside the Ralph's parking lot, the cops did a 3-car felony pullover. Then they took the guy and confiscated his bike, strapped it onto the hood of the car. Guess why? He had no record. I could hear it all. I was waiting for the bus. And this just happened to be a strange day that I wanted to walk extra far. So I literally walked 2 additional miles to a random bus stop and caught this event happening. And they arrest him. And in the audio, you actually can hear the police saying, they're acting like they're being apologetic, like they have no, again, Armenian organized crime is here. They can take them down. They can harass their businesses. I know their businesses. They do arson here. I got evidence of them doing arson, burning down an Asian American business and then turning it into an Armenian, same business too. And while they burned that one down, while they burned down the Asian business, it took about 1.5 years for them to rebuild it. The Armenian-owned Allen Cleaners, which is on Verdugo, is the lowest rated cleaners in all of the valley, which actually has comments of people saying that they believe that their product was stolen besides being damaged. And I'm talking about, this is how do you maintain a business like that if it's not organized crime for money laundering? And what are these? And look at those guys left. So again, that stop was totally fake. So what are those? So Allen's Cleaners, when the Asian place burns down, and I walked to the library the morning that it's being put out, I say, because it was closed, so I say immediately and when the Burbank PD fire department is still there, that is Armenian organized crime. The fire department doesn't call it arson. Therefore, you know how I know they don't call it arson? Because the Asian people have to sell their businesses, both businesses, a nail business and a cleaners business, that were both super successful. The nail business was never empty, and the cleaners was the highest ranked in all of Burbank. That got burned down. In the year that got burned down, the Allen Armenian organized crime built a second location, literally right on the other side, just on the other side of the apartments. There's a park right here. Actually, that's a park right there. On the other side of that park, literally right on the side of the park, they built an Allen's Cleaner right next to an Armenian-owned laundromat that I've used a couple times, and I stopped using it because they're old Armenians. So you want to be nice to them, and you're like, okay, you don't want to be racist and see that all Armenians are fleas, parasitic fleas. So I walk into the place, I see the Armenians, I'm like, you know what, I'm not gonna trip. So I get my money, check my quarters. All the machines are digital count. And so that already catches my attention, because you have to understand, organized crime is always looking for ways of creating distance between you and your money, so they can scoop it up in the vacuum. And this looked like a trick. And so that day I was using a large 6-pound, because I was doing my blankets. That's why I went there. In the 6-pound, it's like 475 or 575. 6 quarters were skipped. Okay, and it's like, what is it? Like 25 quarters. So like 6 quarters were, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna give. Maybe I went too fast, so I didn't let that trip me out. I went back there a second time. This time I told myself, you know what? I'm not gonna use a big one. I'm just gonna use 2 small ones. In both of the small ones that only took 5 quarters, each one required an additional quarter. And I realized that that's the entire system that this Armenian business, again, Burbank PD does not protect Burbank citizens from this type of, oh, it's just a quarter. Okay, that's just the beginning. But they put Allen's Cleaners right next to that place. Allen 2, they call it Allen's 2. And then they, now when, just within the last month, the cleaners of the Asians open, and now it's an Armenian owned, named after an Armenian girl. It's calling it a grand opening, not reopening. And again, the nail business that they have on the corner, that the Asians had on the corner, Asian Americans had on the corner, the Armenian terrorists now own. And you know what they have it as? A nail shop. And guess what? It's not. They don't cater. Armenian businesses do not operate in what we would consider traditional capitalist fashion, in which they want to attract and maintain non-Armenian customer base. They see an Armenian customer base as their base and everything else as extensions. Everything. When I was working at the hospital, I took a class for EMT services. You had to get a watch for a regular watch for the vitals course. And, I have a watch, so I just went to get a battery at the Burbank Mall. It was an Armenian, old Armenians. And I'm like, man, I should just go to fucking Target. And I was like, I was going to a movie, so it's like 3 places away from the movie. And I was like, what, just get it, Tim. How can they fuck you over here? I go in, I'm like, hey, can I get a battery for this? And he's like, oh, you don't want to get a new watch? I was like, no, just a battery. Oh, you sure? No, new watch. Yeah, we got a lot of great watches. It's like, no, it's just a battery. I'm taking a course. And in the back of my head, I'm like, you know what? This fucking piece of food, this piece of shit, fucking Armenian trash, he's going to try to, he thinks he's going to get business out of me by giving me a fucked up battery. In his mind, he thinks me coming back to complain about it not lasting will either only cost him maybe another battery at most, that's if he doesn't argue it away, but it'll give him an opportunity to try to sell me a watch. And I was like, nah, Tim, you're being paranoid. That's too elaborate. That watch, my course was 10 weeks. The battery died before the course was over. So